Welcome. I'm Doug Smith from Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative, and we're going to be discussing PBIS 6 classroom practices, and this is just going to be an overview of those practices. So what we're going to be looking at a little bit for the agenda for the day is looking at the physical environment, going to be discussing the classroom teaching matrix, looking at active supervision, encouraging appropriate behavior, looking at a continuum of responses for inappropriate behaviors, and looking at engagement and opportunities to respond. There are 6 classroom practices that research has shown to have a positive impact on students. The goal is consistent use of these practices by all teachers. These strategies maximize classroom supports to allow for increased instructional time and reduced teacher and student stress. Rationale for using these practices is that they provide for positive student outcomes academically and behaviorally. They prevent more serious problems from students and provide students with a greater sense of safety and encourage supportive relationships among students and staff. The physical environment of the classroom should have space arranged so that all students can hear, see, move freely, and engage to maximize learning and allow for active supervision. The rationale for effective arrangement of the physical environment is that it helps to increase on-task behavior for all students. Students and staff also have an increased perception of safety as well as a respect for others' personal space. It makes it easier to use the curriculum visuals and allows for teacher movement. A few important reminders to consider when arranging your classroom environment was first, keep high traffic areas free from congestion, including group work areas, lockers, doorway, teacher and student desks, and of course a pencil sharpener. Second, ensure all of your students can see you as you teach. Stand in different parts of the room to be sure you can see all your students and all your students can see you. Think about what might interfere with your visual monitoring and how do you position yourself while helping students. Third, ensure that materials and supplies are clearly labeled and easily accessible to students. Finally, ensure to only display current or relevant materials. Be careful not to make your room overstimulating to students and remove content that is no longer being used frequently in the classroom. The classroom teaching matrix includes teaching expectations, rules, and routines. This is not an actual practice, but it is a critical foundation for establishing consistency among adults. All classrooms should have an easy to follow matrix containing the school-wide expectations, classroom rules, and classroom routines. This matrix serves as a primary tool for defining the behavioral, social, and emotional learning standards for instruction. There are 3 components of the classroom teaching matrix. First are the expectations. Each classroom should have 3 to 5 positively stated classroom expectations that are the same as the school-wide expectations. The next component is the rules and examples. These are observable, measurable, positively stated, understandable, pro-social examples for each expectation in each area of the classroom. And finally, there are routines that are posted procedures for automating common activities. Teachers want to consider routines for external behaviors such as turning in assignments, leaving the classroom, and social emotional skills such as asking for help or being a friend to someone. The rationale for classroom teaching matrix include creating a dependable system of rules and procedures to provide structures for students and to help them to be engaged with instructional tasks. A classroom teaching matrix also helps teach rules and routines at the beginning of the year and enforcing them consistently across time to increase student academic achievement and task engagement. Finally, clearly stating expectations and consistently supporting them lends credibility to the teacher's authority. Active supervision is a highly proactive practice of moving continuously, scanning all areas of the setting, and interacting positively with authenticity. There are 3 components of active supervision, and they include movement. When supervising work or activities, the adult continuously circulates among students in a manner that is random and unpredictable. This is a good opportunity to give behavior-specific praise to students, as well as to correct academic or behavioral errors. It gives the teacher an opportunity to demonstrate interest in students, assist with learning tasks, provide feedback, both positive and corrective, and it's effective teachers use their body positioning purposely to ensure student engagement. Scanning involves frequently and intentionally looking around at students and making eye contact with students. Teachers can visually sweep all areas of the room as well as look directly at students nearest you. Visual scanning allows the teacher to watch for instances of appropriate and inappropriate behavior that they will want to respond to immediately or as soon as possible. It will also help the teacher to identify students who may need their assistance. Interacting while moving and scanning, you should also frequently interact with students. This communicates care, trust, and respect and creates positive climate and increases likelihood of accepting correction if needed. Interacting includes a proximity, listening, eye contact, smiles, pleasant voice tone, and the use of students' names. Supervision obviously allows you to monitor learning and to identify students who may have questions or need your assistance. Active supervision can increase student task engagement. We know that when adults are present and actively supervising, student behavior is better. Your physical presence itself tends to reduce the occurrence of student misbehavior. Monitoring students closely is the only way you will know if students are meeting your expectations. Having clearly defined expectations and teaching them has a limited impact without consistently upholding those expectations through supervision paired with encouragement and correction. Supervision will, of course, allow you to ensure student safety and possibly prevent problematic or even perhaps dangerous situations. Possibly most important, supervision provides an opportunity to establish positive relationships. Adult attention is one of the most powerful ways to impact student positive effect, increase compliance, and meet student needs for attention. Encouraging appropriate behavior by instructing what it is expected, communicating positive examples, giving specific feedback, and motivating students with reinforcers designated to promote a growth mindset and community inclusion. So let's explore the continuum of class and school-wide strategies to encourage appropriate behavior. First, we need to make sure to teach behavior and routines. This means that we have a written plan or schedule for teaching and practicing expectations, rules, or procedures. Next, we need to be using preventative prompts. This involves prompting the expected behavior just prior to when it is needed. For example, before we transition to group work, remember showing respect looks like quietly putting our previous work away, getting our necessary materials ready, and quietly moving to our assigned group. We need to be giving behavior-specific praise at a rate of 5 praise to 1 correction. An example is, Diane, thank you for keeping your eyes on the speaker. That is showing respect. Pairing behavior-specific praise with individual, tangible reinforcers gives extra focus on acknowledging the student for expected behavior. And finally, using group contingencies where you acknowledge the whole class or groups in the class by giving points or tokens so that students can earn 5 to 10 minutes social reward helps to reinforce expected behaviors. The continuum of response strategies for inappropriate behaviors are the consequences that are used to address inappropriate behaviors. These should start with the least intensive and progress to more intensive measures as the behavior requires. The first strategy is planned ignoring. This involves ignoring the student behavior when their motivation is attention and continue instruction without stopping. Next, teachers can use physical proximity, which is using proximity to communicate teacher awareness, caring, and concern. You can also use direct eye contact by giving the teacher look to get attention and nonverbally prompt the student. A cue or signal is also a great strategy to prompt a desired behavior or help the class adhere to a classroom procedure or routine. Praising the appropriate behavior in others to remind all students of the expected rule or expectation works well also. Redirecting or restating the desired behavior on the matrix is a simple strategy that brings students back to the matrix. Many times we need to reteach the matrix. You can have the student demonstrate and then provide immediate feedback. Praising approximations involves reinforcing one behavior and not another. For example, praise the positive behavior while ignoring the student's inappropriate behavior. Specific error correction is feedback to inform the student to stop the undesired behavior and to engage in the desired behavior connected to the school-wide expectation. Providing choice involves giving choices that lead to the same outcome. Some examples include accomplishing the task in another location, changing the order of task completion, using alternative supplies, or even a different type of activity that accomplishes the same objective. A conference with a student might be needed. Finally, you might consider a restorative circle that uses the circle format to address specific incidents that have occurred. The rationale for using a continuum of responses is that we need to have a toolkit to diminish the frequency, intensity, and duration of inappropriate behavior. There is also no single strategy that works for all students all the time. We must also start to think about function of the behavior as we use strategies with individual or groups of students. Engagement and opportunities to respond. We all know how important it is to have students be academically engaged. The use of multiple opportunities to respond includes strategies for all students to be engaged simultaneously through various strategies. Examples include Think, Pair, Share, response boards, choral response, computer programs like Kahoot, and small group work, to name a few. The rationale for increasing academic opportunities to respond is the more students spend involved in learning activities, the more they learn. Increased rates of responding can increase the amount of material to be covered. When teachers increase their opportunities to respond, students' on-task behavior and correct responses increase while disruptive behavior decreases. Increased opportunities to respond is shown to improve reading and math performance, and it provides continual feedback for the teacher on student learning and on the effectiveness of his or her teaching strategies. Thank you. I'm Doug Smith from Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative. If you have any questions or want some further guidance, please feel free to contact me at doug.smith@hazard.kyschools.us or doug.smith@theholler.org. Be safe, be kind, be exceptional. Thank you.